Uh, Good morning from Dublin. And Suman sir, what's the time there?
It's good. It's gonna be good night very soon. It's almost 9 now. Good evening, everyone
Okay.
from Sydney.
Okay. So we are together here today to facilitate today's uh, exploratory action research meeting. Uh, Unfortunately, we will not have Lakshman sir today, but he will be providing feedback later uh, after going through the today's recording as well, as he's very much busy for managing NAILTA's, I mean, the large-scale conference this time, so he's pretty much busy, but he will be joining next session. Uh, so now, today, what we'll be doing is we'll do two different things specifically. First of all, we'll learn your sharing of two different stories. I mean, the exploratory action research works carried out by Purna Prasad Paudel and Jagat Kumari Giri. So we have already got the presentation slides as well. So what we'll do is we'll request you to present yourself on behalf of team, or including all the team members. Number one. Number two, then we'll ask all the participants to report whatever you have been doing, or what you have completed, and the things that you need to do further. These two different things we talk, and then Suman sir and me myself will try to, I mean, it's not a kind of guiding, but we'll try to see how we can suggest if there are something to something to suggest further. So these are the things that we'll be doing today, and yeah, finally, and we'll also try to find the appropriate date for the other meeting. We're thinking like we need to move a little bit fast. Fast, the meaning, the word fast itself. I mean, let me clarify a little bit. The word fast means does not mean that we'll request everyone to move very fast without having proper thought of ER, but okay. So some rules again, some rules of meeting. If your microphone is on right now, please switch it off. And once we request you to switch on your microphone, you can switch it on and then join the conversation. That way, we'll hear each other properly. Otherwise, there will be always interference of the background noise, and as a result, we always need to request, and it will interrupt our conversation as well. That's it. Suman sir, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I mean, the only thing to be added, the only thing that I need to add to Sagunsa's note is that I think we need to continue working at a probably at a bit faster pace so that your exploration phase is over and you can plan your intervention and actually implement your intervention, and then collect additional data if required for you to make a research based conclusion about what happened, whether your the word that I'm looking for is intervention, whether your intervention really worked out, and also because as well as doing that, we'd like you all to write your progress report, summarize your research. So I think having that bit of time at the end would give you, that flexibility to write a report, and also give us time so that we can give you feedback. And if you're interested, we can probably we can discuss this individually based on your interest, whether you'd like to extend your report to a journal paper, whether you'd like to publish it, somewhere. So I think it's very necessary that you wrap up your research and then move into next phase, which is bit of like, if you're not interested doing bit of I think doing the report, if you're interested, probably extending it to a journal paper format, and we'll discuss how we can provide you support. But again, for you to provide individual support, you need to work at a fast pace, and you need to give us time, because Sagunji is busy. He's got his professional commitments. I've got my own professional commitments and other engagements. Lakshman sir is also equally busy, as you all know it. So, would like to work together, and we'd like to take it one step further from from concluding research to probably publishing it somewhere. Obviously, we'll publish all of your research on our website. But again, as I said earlier, we'd like to take it a step further and see whether we can push some of your papers. Again, that depends on how much work you put, and the rigor in your writing. So obviously, these things will come along. But again, yeah, Puskar Parsu sir said that he's interested. So we'd like to see how many people are interested, and we'll see what we can do. But again, all we need is time. I think all of us are under time crunch as you are. So yeah, moving at a faster pace is what we'd like you to do. Now, I think that's it. So I think we can begin today's meeting.
Right now
Yeah.
it's 9:33 Dublin time. What we'll do is we'll run up to, I mean, exactly an hour. So we'll wind up by 10:15 Dublin time again. That means 4 o'clock Nepali time. Again, the format is each group will get only 10 minutes today, because we also need to have some time for question answer and some comments as well from your friends. So it's strictly 10 minutes time. And then we'll have individual report sharing. Now, over to the team of Jiban Bhattrai sirs. The members are Jiban Bhattrai, Jenny Rai, and Manda Pokhrel. We'll be talking on Purna Prasad Paudel's exploratory action research. The exploratory action research they carried out was "My students do not take part actively in group work." Over to you, Jiban sir. Now you can switch on your microphone, and Jenny ma'am and Manda ma'am, Weaver will be leading. So first of all, you switch on your microphone and request others to switch on microphone as well. Then you can start sharing your slides too. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone, and I am Jivan Bhattrai. And we are three members in our team. Jenny Rai and Manda Pokhrel is with me. Jenny Rai is from Jhapa, and Manda Pokhrel is from Kathmandu, I think. We were assigned to read an article by Purna Prasad Paudel. The article entitled "My students do not take part actively in group work," and we studied the article and prepared this presentation. So actually, I'm very much delighted to be part of EAR project. Okay, next slide, sir. Hello, sir. Next slide
Uh,
now.
yeah, excuse me. We could hear some background noise, by the way. Could you please switch off your microphone? Uh,
Well, okay.
Puskar sir, your microphone is on. Yeah. Okay, here you go.
Okay. Next slide, sir.
Yeah, I already put the next slides, by the way.
It's buffering. It's not on. Sir, I couldn't see the next slide. Internet is a bit slow. I think it's causing because of the internet.
Is it okay? Like, one of your team members will jump
So
into
I'd
it.
like okay. So I'd like to request Jenny or Manda to present.
Okay, Jenny or Manda ma'am, you can switch on your microphone and start presenting.
Hello everyone. As Jivan sir has already introduced about our topic, now I'm moving on with objectives of the study. Okay. So moving on to detect why the students do not take part actively in the group work was one of the objectives of the action research conducted. Similarly, the other was to find out better techniques for involving my students into the group activities. That means my students here mean the action research that was conducted by, I forgot the name actually, but of the person who had conducted it.
It's Purna Prasad Paudel.
Purna Prasad, yes, was conducted by Purna Prasad sir. So next slide, sir.
Oops. Sorry.
So the questions were, do my students like to learn in group work? When do students like or not like to participate in the group work? Which students do or do not actively participate in the group work? So the question already shows that the students were not participating properly in the group work, and that's why the questions here: why, when, or do they, or were they interested, or which students? So next slide. Instruments used for data collection: questionnaire, open and close-ended questions, and observations were the tools used. Findings shows majority of students, 60%, like group work because they enjoyed it and get help from their peer to do tasks. The students did not like to work in groups because they did not get chance to work with a close friend. They like to work with a best friend, able, honest, supportive group members. Though they worked properly in groups when task was a bit challenging. Students' involvement is necessary while assigning group members. Like the findings show that when the students were asked like why they were not interested in the group work, then they were interested, but there were few reasons. Like they wanted to work with their close friends, and their best friend, they're honest, to whom they could like rely on, those who were supportive. And there were few students who were um, found a bit disruptive, and they were put aside. Later on they were given some other works, like keeping an eye on other groups members, how they had been working, so how they were assigned on to get involved into the group activities. So these were the findings of exploration. The students, 60% of them like to work because they enjoy it, and those who didn't like to work was also because they felt that, like they would not be supportive or their friends were not helpful to them. Yes, sir, next slide. So plan was the activities that was conducted by him was period of intervening the action was 1 month. Getting them to select group members themselves was every day for a month, to like to which members of like or their friends to getting them to select group members. Like as I said, they felt they were not much. The students had not been trustful or trustworthy to all the friends. They had some selective friends, and so they were given some time to select the group members, and for every day for a month, to whom they would rely on, they could rely on. Similarly, asking each group to select members for different roles, messenger, secretary, and leader. Like forming a group and then giving them a role would make them more responsible. And because of that, that was done every day. Changing role within groups. Like every day, same person doing the same job would be monotonous. So there, the where roles were frequently changed. Yes, sir. Winning the action after the exploration, after whenever there were certain findings, what the students were wanting or not, and then there were some intervening actions. Let students form group themselves. As said earlier, like some certain time period was there, 1 month or every day during the month. Students were made to form the group by themselves. They were assigned different roles: messenger, secretary, leader, observers, so that everybody would be like engaged for that assurance. Um, Allowed students to select members for different roles. Yes, because role changing should be there so that the students would not be monotonous. Got them change roles within groups with the change of tasks. Yes, that is of course necessary for any for keeping students mobile. Yes, sir. Next slide. And while observation, majority of students work in group. Majority of the students, when they're like students, they were in the group with the students, they were wanting to, they were found enjoying working in the group. Only 5 to 6 students remained unresponsive. As I said earlier, some of them were found unresponsive or a bit disruptive or disturbing while doing the group work. Role of observer to unfriendly students reduced disruptive behavior. Like when such students who were not friendly with the groups were allotted some work that made them responsible. After the observation, the researcher he came out with certain outcomes, allowing student choice to select group members who worked well. The decision went well, like allowing them to change their group members by themselves. Greater part of the students were ready to work in group when the thing was done accordingly, like according to the wishes, then they were ready for the work. Unfriendly students learned the value of mutual cooperation. Yes, mutual cooperation, responsibility, they could learn that. Disruptive behaviors were reduced. Some 5 to 6 students were still reluctant to work in group. So maybe as all the groups could not be incorporated, or all the students cannot 100% result may not be the outcome there. So I guess it's because of that 5 to 6 students were still reluctant. Yes, sir. Reflection. Group work needs collaboration and mutual understanding. We as teachers should give value to students. Students desire to work with close friends. Yes, their desire, their wishes, their wills should always be our first priority. This is what this work has even proved. Allowing students to choose group members themselves increases its effectiveness, and that's because of their desire and doing it accordingly. Group work is more effective when the students have to deal with a bit more challenging tasks. When we give them easy, they would be like individual, they would prefer working individual. Why take help from others? This when there's challenging tasks, then they feel need of help, they feel need of like unity. Yes, and the help, they'll seek for help by themselves. So challenging tasks will be there to get them involved more together. So this was what we got from the research we had been given, group work activities.
Uh,
Thank you.
yes, thank you, Munda ma'am, Jivan sir, and Jenny Wright ma'am as well. Uh, yeah, the slides incorporated, I think, all the components which were in exploratory action research carried out by Purna Prasad Paudel sir. I'll stop sharing my desktop now. Something is wrong, I think. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Any comments or questions? Now, what we'll do is, if we have any comments or questions, we'll switch on our microphone and we'll speak. And later, we'll ensure that we switch off our microphone as well when we stop speaking. So that's the rule. Now, over to any of you. Yeah, before that, I would like to request Suman sir to, highlight few things what they have said.
Okay, sorry. I was having computer issue while Mandaji was speaking. In fact, I could not hear a single sentence from Mandaji. My bad, probably. It wasn't working. I tried sending message to Mandaji to, take off the earphone. Anyway, I think it was my problem on my part. Hello, Jivan sir, could you switch off your microphone, please? Um, I think what this presentation shows is I'm not sure because I was off the meeting and group discussion and everything in the last couple months because of my PhD commitments. So I was not able to. I've been not able. I've not been able to read through everything that you guys have sent. I think what this presentation and also last month's presentation suggests is that now I think many of you have finished doing your exploration. It's time to plan for action, and think of the activities that you'd like to implement as your intervention strategies. And as on the slide 6, I think it's good to have that Gantt chart. We sent you, if you remember, Sagunji and Lakshman sir, plus our generic email ID, from our generic email ID, we sent you the Gantt chart and the draft. So if you can now think of activities that you'd like to undertake or employ to address the issues that you've explored, I think this presentation clearly tells you, how long. I mean, for example, if you go to slide 6, it tells that, interviews will be done, in 1 month's time, and so students will be asked to set in group members, themselves every day for a month, asking group to select members for different roles every day, changing role within groups every day. So think of activities that you would like to do. For example, this afternoon I had an opportunity to read Anilji's work around, um, he focuses on writing, why students don't write, and he's got some very interesting data. I'm like very surprised to see the kind of data he's got essay writings from students, he's got interview data, he's got focus group discussions with his colleagues. So now is the time to reflect on those data and plan for intervention activities. And you can now discuss, if you're not sure what activities to use, you can discuss those with me, Sagunji, or Lakshman sir, if it's convenient for you to talk to Lakshman sir. Yeah, I think that's the only note that I would like to. I mean, that's the only comment that I would like to make now. I would like to hear what you think, and then I'll add some other things, as we go on. Sagunji, up to you now.
Thank you, Suman sir. Yeah, uh, I don't want to reiterate what Suman sir said. It's clear, I think. If we ask the same question to Manda ma'am's group, Manda ma'am, Jivan sir, or Jenny ma'am can answer. What exactly did you learn by reading Purna Prasad Paudel sir's ER in a couple of sentences, one sentence or two sentences, or let's say in a minute, let's say? Could you answer? What exactly did you learn by going through Purna Prasad Paudel sir's exploratory action research? Over to one of you.
After we read that research, Purna Prasad sir's research, the first thing is students' wishes matter a lot. That is what, because of which students might go into the activities, because they have something else. The expectation with the teacher, with the topic, what they have been reading, or the activities to be done in the classroom might be different. And then what we are planning to do might be different. So because of that only, also the students might not have been interested in the activities we want them to get involved in too.
Okay. Thank you, Manda ma'am, for pointing out, how exactly our work and then the students' expectation differ. That's one thing. Our question is also, did you learn the overall process, by the way? Did you get the clear picture of the exploratory action research? Yeah, okay. So,
Yeah, so but one thing the students' number is also more. Like in my classroom, I got the situation similar. I have students' number ranging from 40 to 70, but as in the researcher says that he made students choose the members as per their wishes. I couldn't do that because my students' level is +2, and they are not much familiar with their friends. They could not decide to whom they would like to work with, because they almost every time they have the same members. They are sitting in the bench. The bench partner are always the same. So that friendliness with the friend is another thing, I guess, that matters to what sort of activities students will be doing or not, paying attention to or not.
yes, thank you, Manda ma'am, for pointing it out. It's really interesting, how exploratory action research carried out by someone who is having similar context like of ours inform us to have our informed decision or choice as well, which she highlighted so well. That's one thing. Number two, the purpose is also to make you learn the pattern or kind of, let's say, framework of the entire exploratory action research as well. So please do focus on that too, and then try to plan accordingly, because it's a kind of, again, cyclical process. So, and right now, our major intention is to make you know what different steps do you need to exactly follow to carry out exploratory action research. Yes, thank you so much. It's very well presented. Thanks again, Jivan sir, Jenny ma'am, and Manda ma'am for putting a lot of effort to present the work of Purna Prasad Paudel sir. Now, without much delay.
Sagunji, we've got a question.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Rajendra Maharjan, sir. His question is, how do you measure or identify the level of increased engagement of an individual student with their close friend? I think which is a very good question.
Yeah. Suman sir, here you are too. Yeah,
Excuse me, sir. I have something to say.
please carry on.
Like the question, as the question says, how could we measure? I could not see much of the like I've been doing. I explored few things, and I have been like involving my students in some of the activities, like speaking club. I have started doing inside conducting it inside my classroom. I've started making them speak every Friday, showing some pictures or something like that. But because of this, I have found that my students are much like interested talking to me or like being open with me in sharing the things than before. But I have not seen much of the changes among the students, like how they behave now and how they used to. Not much of the difference. So even I am like interested on how can I increase the level of my students' intimacy or the coordination among the students.
Yes, thank you, Manda ma'am. Besar has also answered, like we can observe their activity, and this can be the observation can be the tool for measuring the level of engagement as well. Suman sir, anything you would like to add upon?
I'm considering this question from what I do now professionally. If you're using technology, there are different ways to see student engagement in tasks. We're not talking about that, obviously. We're talking about whether they are engaged in activities in the classroom. I think the best way to measure is your own observation. I think you as a teacher know whether your students, a particular student or a group of students, are working on the things or are working on the tasks that you've assigned, or they're doing something else. So I think your observation maybe now to assign to. Now, Professor has asked another question. How can we get preciseness with just observation? So, Professor, to answer your question, I was coming to the same point. If you'd like to check whether your students have engaged in activity, I think it's you always need to have an assessment tool ready. So, assessment could be in the form of written test, assessment could be in the form of a presentation, oral presentation, assessment could come in different ways, and you as a teacher, classroom teacher, know about it very well, I'm sure. So use one of the tools and see whether they have, whether your students have achieved the desired outcome or not. So I think that's the only way when we're not using any other digital tools or technologies which can record the logs of their activities. So it's basically observation and having some sort of assessment tools to writing notes. Obviously writing notes, I completely agree, but again, these are your notes. So for example, now let's give a real example. You've taught a grammar act. Now you come into classroom with a grammar activity and you'd like your students to learn a particular grammar structure, grammar rule by the end of the lesson, or maybe a multiple series of multiple lessons. So design a survey, design an activity to implement in the classroom after that particular lesson or series of lessons. So if you've assigned group work, if you've asked students to do something, so the output, the product of the activity is also another way to measure assessment. So it's all about, I think, setting those activities, doing little things and seeing whether everyone's on the same, same boat, I suppose, is the way to see whether your students are engaged in activities or not.
Yes, thank you, Suman sir. Yeah, please.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think Jivan sir said that I'm directing my actions to build up confidence. So I was not clear, what he wanted to say. Would you like to, Jivan sir, would you like to speak for a minute and say what, discuss or explain what you're trying to say?
Yes, of course. Yes, I'd like to share my progress till now.
Jiban sir.
Currently, I'm into any
Jivan sir.
action.
Jivan
Yes,
sir,
please.
can I hold you for a minute? Sagunji,
Yes.
before Jivan sir, okay, I think I can do it. Now, I think let's wrap up Jivan sir's and the group's presentation. Now, we'd like to hear Jivan sir's progress with his research because he would like to talk about his intervention. So you've got around 5 minutes. Jivan sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So shall I start? Well, sir, very happy to be here. Actually, I'm in my intervention period. My issue is my students do not interact with teacher in the classroom. When I ask questions, they remain silent, and neither they respond my question nor do they ask any questions to me. I want to improve this condition. I want to make my students more active and productive. I expect more productive conversation, interaction in the classroom so that they could share their difficulties in learning or ask questions and at least try to ask my questions in the classroom. So what I think is without interaction, I cannot, teach effectively. So now I have planned to implement confidence building activities in my classroom first. What I found is students are really, they hesitate to ask questions because a kind of fear rules their head when they want to ask the question. It is what they have shared in their focus group discussion time. And I had also administered a questionnaire, and in questionnaires as well, the reasons of not asking questions or interacting with the teachers and or not sharing, difficulties, learning difficulties, any kind of difficulties to the teachers, and not trying to answer the teachers' questions is they have shared that it is the fear. It is the fear, and they don't want to lose the face in front among the friends. They don't want to lose the face among the friends, and another thing is that they fear of the punishments. It is verbal or corporal. And another thing is that their brilliant peers always overtakes them. One of the child in my focus group discussion shared that she always try to answer the question. It takes time for her, but her brilliant friend always overtake them. These are the reasons which I got. These are the results of my exploration phase. And after that, now I have planned to build the confidence in them in the beginning. To build the confidence, now I have started teaching in a more funny way. I mean, starting the lesson with greetings. I always greet them positively and always wear a very cheerful face while entering into the classroom before starting the actual lesson. And before that, I also let them discuss, free discuss of any topic they like to talk about, just for 5 to 10 minutes before I go to the actual lesson. It releases their barriers, I mean emotional barriers, and they may feel a kind of freedom they may feel before I go to the actual lesson. And it has been 9 days since I have started my intervening actions, and now I am writing the observation notes. Every day when I finish my class, I write what goes inside the classroom. And I am also observing some kind of change. Before only 5 or 6 first bencher used to respond to my question. They used to ask the questions and everything they used to do in the classroom. Nowadays, the number has increased a bit. It's not much satisfactory one, but it has increased. Nowadays, 10, 12, 15 students respond that. And when I greet them by saying, hello, how is it going? And what did you do yesterday? And how do you feel now? What are your difficulties? They answer even single word. Sometimes they answer in a complete sentence, and sometimes just a single word. In this way, I'm going on, and this is the progress since up to now, sir.
Well done, Jivan sir. Actually, personally, I'm really delighted by learning the changes that you could make. And if I speak on behalf of team, we have found like you have carried out your exploratory action research successfully following all those steps. First of all, you identified your problem, you set some research questions which you didn't share here, but yeah, we could learn them. And later, you found some, you got some research instruments to collect your data, to have some, to learn some problems or issues which lie, and you came across them, like students' hesitation and fear of, fear of presenting some ideas. And later, on the basis of those findings, again, you set some plans for action. For example, you began your lesson with some topics which are of their interest, and you went yourself in a very cheerful mood so that they could feel really inviting. And you started with greetings, and it changed, and you said like it has, through your observation, through your observatory node, you haven't found massive change, but you have found some change. The level of involvement has increased. That's really good, good thing. And you also said like it's 8 to 9 days, and you have also started writing notes and so on. That's really good thing. Please carry on, and then later, please write a kind of report, and please do send to us as well. Probably Jivan sir's, let's say, progress report right now, which he has shared, can be again helpful. I can hear the background noise again. Yes, thank you. Can be helpful for everyone, and you also can see like the format or structure of presentation as well through Jivan sir's presentation. This can be effective for everyone. Now over to Suman sir, if you have anything to add. Thank you.
I think it's good to see that Jivan has moved to the next stage of the research, which is intervention. Happy to learn that. What is his issue of exploration itself is an interesting one, trying to build confidence of students around in speaking. I'm not sure what intervention activities, Jivan has thought of. I think confidence building activities, allowing students to talk freely in the beginning of the class, I think those are all very helpful, I suppose. Have you also, this is more of a question rather than comments. Have you thought of any other intervention activities, or are those the only intervention activities that you're going to implement, Jivan sir?
Excuse me, sir.
So, my question is: have you thought of any other intervention activities other than free talking activities, greetings? Are there other intervention plans that you've got, or are these the only intervention activities?
Yes, of course, sir. After a couple of weeks of building confidence activities, greetings, and stopping. So what I want to mention is that before this, I used to exercise corporal punishment, and I used to slap sometimes, and I was really unable to control my emotions when students failed to answer my questions. And I also used to criticize, which I also got in my observation note before the exploration. Before the exploration, I also wrote some observations. I also did some observations, and I studied observations before going to sleep. So while I'm out of my school time, and what I found is that so it was my exercise. It was my punishment, my verbal punishment, physical punishments, and my negative criticism, abrupt, correction. Next thing, abrupt correction. And I really did not used to wait for their response, and I immediately used to correct their errors, and I used to correct every errors, because I knew that it is not good to correct abruptly, but in classroom I used to forget this, and I used to do this. Now what I am doing is I'm greeting, I'm allowing them to discuss freely about sports law, anything they like. And next thing I'm doing is I'm skipping their minor errors now. I'm not correcting. I'm not doing abrupt criticism, and I'm not just exercising any kind of slapping and physical exercise. And I have just made a class contract as well. So I will not punish you for this month, and you are free to say anything you like, and you are free to even if you make errors while responding my questions, I will not criticize for that. And I also have motivated them, encouraged them to be cooperative to other children, and I've also told them that always laughing is not a kind of fear generating activities. We can laugh in the classroom and we can make fun. And another is I'm also using some jokes, riddles, etc. to down their fear. These are some of the activities I'm just planning to intervene.
All right. Okay. I think what I see more important here is, your own self behavior and reflection and, observation of how you do your class. I think that may have also helped you. And you've noted that, I suppose, in your diary. You just said that because you reflect how your lessons went every day before you go to bed. I think, which is very, I think you're very right. Having come from a similar background, I can see. I'm like having taught in private schools, how teachers' behavior, like how teachers can be intimidating, and how that can inhibit students' participation. So very well done, Jivan sir. I think you deserve appreciation here. So write all of these things. Write your data. Write your observations. Write your reflections. Keep them noted. Keep them very well documented, because they can come to a good use. We can make very good use of them, I suppose. Sagunji, over to you now.
Yes, thank you, Suman sir. And thanks a lot, Jivan sir. It has been really, really wonderful presentation for everyone, including us as well. Like, we could see, as I again repeat, as I told you earlier, let me repeat again, like we could see the steps that you have taken, and right now you got some kind of concrete informed choices which you could implement further as well. And as Manda ma'am said here, exactly, I have been doing the same, and so been able to develop rapport with the students. Yeah, it will also be effective for other colleagues to confirm their own practice, or if they have not done, to adopt what you have done, or to adapt to their own context what you have done, so that even your research is helping others as well. Number one. Number two, I don't think we'll be able to, because it's already 10:20 here, we're running out of time. So what do you think? Let us learn from, so Mansur, is it your microphone?
I've switched on a microphone, but I've got a headphone on, so I think it shouldn't make a bad noise. Anyway, I think what was your another question? Was it just the microphone, or?
No, it's just because it's creating kind of little more noise. So okay, that's fine. So I mean, my question to Nim sir, Parishta Rai, and Persis Shrestha sir, like, what do you think right now, since we are running out of time? Rather, we think like it will be really a good idea to make you share your presentation on the next date rather than today, because it will take nearly 15 minutes time, 10 minutes plus 5 minutes question answer. And in the meantime, since today we got really wonderful sharing by Jivan sir and then the team, I think this will be the sufficient, input for all of us. So may we learn from Nim sir or Parishta Rai or Persis Shrestha sir. Are you ready to present later, or?
Can I interject here, Sagunji?
Yeah.
I think because we've run out of time, it's just let's not do presentation for the sake of presentation, because once people, present, we might have comments, we might have observation to make, and others may have questions. So it's good to give them time to prepare. So we could probably do, another session, not in a month's time, maybe in 3 weeks' time or 2 weeks' time, if everyone agrees. So everyone gets that, fair bit of time to talk about their work and their, and share their findings and the intervention activities that they are doing. What do you think?
Yeah, Persis Shrestha sir, we were ready. You said, we know you were ready, but today, because of some technical glitches as well, we could not, run, in a more structured and scheduled way. So do you think you want to share now or later? Persis Shrestha, we are also trying to check the opinion of What about next week? Yes, sure. We'll set the date. Don't worry. We'll set the date, and in more, closer, not in a week span. Sorry, not a month span, but probably in a week span. So don't worry. We'll do that as your plan. Okay. Thank you. So thanks for understanding, Persu sir, Paristha ma'am, and Nimlal sir as well. And thanks a lot for Suman sir, please.
I think we've got a question. Sorry, comment. A request from Mandaji. She said that she would like some suggestions. So if you've got any questions, if you've got any queries, please send us emails. You've got our emails. You've got EAR email. You are on Viber group. Post your questions there. Your colleagues can, anyone in the team can answer those, or we'll also, we'll come in and then we'll contribute.
Okay. In this set, could you, Manda ma'am, then in that case, Nimlalji is very sorry. Okay. It's all, see, persons are, what happens in a group is like, we are not here to, let's say, how to put it more properly. Actually, in a group, what happens is like, because of different commitments, everyone might not perform in a same pace, in a same way. So it's you again, someone to take lead and slowly include the other members as well. Just before what exactly Jeevan sir was presenting in the case of students do apply in the case of we people as well. So there should be someone to push and then to, sometimes in next, probably in next kind of work, which you will be collaborating with, let's say, Nim sir. At a time, you will find Nim sir's presence quite, dense. So it depends. Like, don't worry. Since you are working in a team, it happens sometimes. We'll also try to, let's say, request Nimlal sir to be engaged more. So that's what we can do. But it's a group work, it's a teamwork, and it's kind of natural phenomenon. So anything anyone wants to comment on today Jeevan sir's work, or or the group presentation earlier done? A quick kind of comment. So we'll probably wrap in 5 minutes then. Persu sir, we'll deal this matter later. We'll try. We'll also request Lakshman sir, who is in Nepal, to make a call, and then how he could come in contact with you. Don't worry, we'll try our level best to do that. But for the time being, any comments or any questions? As Suman suggested, and then you agreed, like we'll have your presentation later. We'll set the date. Any comments or questions? No. Okay. Thank you. Definitely congratulations to the group. Before winding off, I was about to add one more point in Jeevan sir's, the group's presentation, when there was a question like the level of preciseness to measure in students' involvement. What came to my mind is probably through my observation and study and through my own experience as well, what I can see is sometimes post-activity reflective note by the students also can work better. What do I mean by post-activity students' report is, if we ask their opinions, by the way, how did they find their activity when they got involved? What exactly did they do? 2 or 3 points, what exactly did they do? And you can infer from their message the level of involvement, for example. For example, if you are teaching them the vocabulary exercise, could they recall those vocabulary which they learned as well? What exactly did they do? Did they happen to chat? Did they happen to discuss the meanings of the vocabulary in a group? So, by inferring some ideas from their own response, through the post-activity survey kind of exercise can be helpful. This came to my mind, so I'm just sharing it. So it might be helpful for you as well to check. But again, the involvement itself is more subjective phenomenon. So we cannot measure that way precisely, I think, because it's more subjective. So it always depends. So what do we mean by preciseness? as regards the level of involvement of the students in particular exercise is a matter again. So, Suman sir, anything?
I think, sorry, just to interject something, if you'd like to, actually see how people are performing, you can probably, if you have technology access, you could probably leverage, freely available tools such as Google Doc or other things. Again, I'm just giving you an option. I know, like, not all students will access these things because digital tools then can give you analytics to see the precise involvement, engagement of students. But again, digital tools have their own limitations. So just to add to Sagunji's, observation or comments, that I think preciseness itself needs a bit of definitions. Probably you need to think, what do you mean by preciseness? And I think post-activity discussions or reflection from students could be another tool, other than what I said earlier, that could help you gauge students' engagement.
Thank you, Suman sir. Thanks everyone. Now, since we don't have any comments and questions, we'll wind it up. Before winding up today, there's something good news which I came through Facebook update, so I would like to share with everyone. So let us congratulate together to now not only Suman Lodari, Dr. Suman Lodari. Now it's been formally, if I'm correct, please rectify me if I'm wrong. Then now we can formally say Dr. Suman Lodari. He has been awarded this title from University of Technology. Sorry, I forgot the
Okay.
UTS, University of Technology.
Thank you, Sagunji. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. I submitted my PhD in July. Then I received feedback from examiners upon the reception of which I worked on it. Then submitted back in September. And I received confirmation from research school in October. But then the university gives you a conferral date, which tells you from when you can call yourself a PhD holder. So my conferral date was 12 November. In a couple of days back. So that's why I posted a post on Facebook, just to let people know that I finished my PhD.
Thank you. Congratulations. It means it also.
Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations once again from the entire team of Exploratory Action Research. Definitely we will be hearing quite a lot about his work through the different publications later as well. I'm sure we'll have that opportunity to read what he has done. I came to know now, I was struggling with the name of the university. It was University of Technology, Sydney, UTS.
It is called UTS. There's a huge banner of UTS on Civil Mall, I suppose, in Sundara. It's on the first floor. As you enter the motorcycle parking, you can see a big banner. So that's where I studied. That's the university. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, that's it. It's a good news. Definitely. And then as Suman sir highlighted earlier as well, let me again reiterate, if you are in any kind of individual support to convert your entire this report to the good journal article, we are always there to help you and support you. Don't worry. Never ever feel like, the kind of feeling of intimidation, by the way, never ever have as such, talk frankly and then freely as well. We are always there to help you. Moreover, let's say, or in addition to that fact, definitely we'll be requesting you to write a report, and which we will turn. We are sure we'll be able to do that, even if we have different kind of commitments. Your report will be turned into a kind of a chapter or a kind of digital book as well later, which we'll do it. Last thing is, since we have to submit kind of midterm report. Let's call it midterm report right now to the British Council as to the Hornby Trust, let's say, through British Council. So we need some data. So if you have not submitted so far your progress report, may we request again all of you to submit your progress report using the template that we have provided. It's our earnest request to all of you. That would really help us to produce a really good report as well. And in the meantime, that will also help you to write a very consolidated report later. Okay, so if you have right now the half or more like, let's say nearly a quarter of what you have done, and later on you will just be adding the end portion, which is more like, implementation phase. So please do write whatever you have done and submit us. That's our earnest request from the AR team. Yes, thank you.